Welcome everyone to 10 great roller coasters that I've ridden as of 2016, the year. Now, here's the disclaimer. These are not a countdown of top 10 great roller coasters that I've ridden. That means that this is in no particular order. Every roller coaster on this list can go either way. However, I would like to know on this list, how would you rank each and every one of these roller coasters? Because to me, these are all phenomenal and fantastic roller coasters, and I cannot rank them in particular order. But without further ado, let's begin. So, a great roller coaster that I've ridden as of 2016, and actually that I hit back up this park this year, June 8th, 2016. I even remember the date. It was with a school trip, Hershey Park Skyrush. Now, I had a great experience on this roller coaster, actually better than I did previous years ago, back in 2012. I had a okay experience, a great experience still, but not just anything amazing. But now I consider this roller coaster better than most of the B&M Hypers that I've ridden. Actually, I'm just gonna put this out right now, all of the B&M Hypers that I've ridden. This thing threw me out of my seat this time. It has a great drop, a crazy lift hill, still one of my favorite lift hills, maybe even my favorite. Just the restraints are still a little bit suckish, but that's fine. It was still a crazy roller coaster, and this year I liked it even more. Millennium Force is another great roller coaster I've ridden as of 2016. I rode this roller coaster last year, back in 2015, so it was on my list back in 2015. Millennium Force, this ride is not anything intense or anything, as people like to put it as. It's an intense roller coaster, especially the drop. However, after the first huge overbank, it is not that intense anymore, maybe even after the first massive airtime hill. But this thing is more of a graceful giga roller coaster. It's by Intamin, so that's very rare, so that's kind of a problem, but it's nothing bad either, because this roller coaster, without a doubt, is still a recommendation at the roller coaster coast, I believe. I don't know, the roller coaster capital of the world, the roller coaster or whatever, I don't even know. But this ride is still a great roller coaster, and it is a recommendation at Cedar Point. Go check it out if you haven't already. It is a great roller coaster. Another roller coaster. This is actually a roller coaster I've ridden this past week. Wicked Cyclone at Six Flags New England. Now, this park I visited back in 2013 when they did not have Wicked Cyclone, which it was released in 2015. And I also rode Bizarro, which is now Superman the Ride. You'll catch this on later on the list. However, Wicked Cyclone, this is a great RMC coaster. Of the two, Twisted Colossus and this in my opinion blows Twisted Colossus out of the water. It's intense, it is relentless, and it is a great roller coaster. This is yet another roller coaster that proved that you can't judge a roller coaster by its size, because this thing is only like 100 feet, but it does pack a huge black and blue mark punch. It is crazy. Tons of airtime and crazily intense. I highly recommend it at Six Flags New England. Intimidator 305 is a roller coaster I've also ridden this year in my one-week trip across with King's Dominion and Carowinds. This ride is without a doubt probably the most intense roller coaster that I've ridden to this date. It is crazy. The drop all the way until the brake run is very intense, and if you do not like intense rides, this is not the ride for you. That's an alert right here. This ride is crazy. The drop is 85 degrees, 300 feet. That is huge, and it's so steep too, and you feel how steep it is. Like most roller coasters, this roller coaster has a very long drop, and most 85-degree drops don't really feel that long, but this roller coaster was an exception because of how massive it was. You even felt the 85-degree drop. And it doesn't really have that much airtime. However, the intensity really makes it to be a top 10, maybe even top 5 roller coaster to some. To some people, this is the top #1 roller coaster that they've ever ridden. And I could see that. This thing is crazy. Maverick is a roller coaster that I rode last year, 2015, when I visited Cedar Point, and this ride is crazy. This ride has some of the best elements on a roller coaster combined in one. It has inversions, it has some great airtime moments, mainly ejector, which is, in my opinion, the best airtime. It's yet another crazily intense roller coaster. If you don't like intense rides, this is not the ride for you. If you love intense rides, on the other hand, this may be the ride that you'll hit up to be the best ride Cedar Point. And in my opinion, it is actually. This ride has some crazy inversions, some of the natural ones, corkscrews, but it's still nice corkscrews. It has some crazy ejector airtime moments. To be exact, about 2 great ejector airtime moments. One about almost mid-course of the ride before the launch, and there's there's one right up into the brake run, which is great still. The drop is pretty over pretty quickly, but it is still a very steep drop, and you still feel it somewhat. Overall, this is, in my opinion, the best ride Cedar Point, and it is relentless from start to finish. It's just a great ride. You'll probably love this ride, and you need to hit it up at Cedar Point. Unless it's your home park, you don't have to like hit it up one day, but if this is in your home park and you only get a chance to go to it once or twice in your lifetime, this is a ride you cannot miss, and you should be ashamed if you miss it. Sorry to say. Superman the Ride. Now, this ride I rode technically back in 2013 as Bizarro at Six Flags New England, and at Superman the Ride, in my opinion, this was actually an even better experience than Bizarro, because I have not ever experienced it as Superman the Ride of Steel. However, now it was rethemed back this year, actually, back to Superman the Ride. Not the Ride of Steel, but just Superman the Ride, which is still, I guess you could say, Ride of Steel. But here's the thing, this ride, the elements are still as good as they were back in 2013. Great airtime. In my opinion, it felt actually smoother than it was back in 2013. In 2013, it had a very, very slight rattle, but here it was glossy smooth. I don't know if they retracted a little bit, or maybe the paint made it a little bit smoother, but this thing was glossy smooth when I rode it, and it was butter. This thing has some great theming elements. Once again, I think this thing as Superman the Ride actually makes it better than Bizarro. Great ride. Probably the best hypercoaster that I've ever ridden to this date as well. Crazy roller coaster. Recommendation at Six Flags New England for sure. Lightning Rod, a roller coaster that I've ridden this year. Now this ride, I believe, is now open to the public finally. I rode it back in mid-July, and it was phenomenal. Without a doubt, one of the best wooden roller coasters ever to be built. Especially, if you ask me, this is the best RMC coaster that seems to be by RMC that they've ever created. This thing is a Dollywood gold. Just like how Six Flags New England, considerably Superman the Ride, or Bizarro you could put it as, was the Six Flags New England crown jewel, and Lightning Rod is considerably the crown jewel of Dollywood. This thing is putting Dollywood on the spot at the moment. Lightning Rod is so intense, without a doubt, one of the most intense roller coasters I've ever ridden. Maybe even the most intense probably the most intense wooden roller coaster I've ever been on. It has some great elements. It is not that long of a ride. However, it also isn't a short ride, so that's still phenomenal. And even if it is considerably a short ride, it still packs a huge, massive punch inside of it. Like I said, Wicked Cyclone, black and blue. And this thing, the launch is very fun and quite intense as well, but more on the fun side as it isn't that fast. It's about 45 miles per hour, which is pretty fast, but it isn't that intense of a launch, but it's still a very awesome, fun launch. The drop is quite steep, and in the back seat, you get flung out of your seat on that drop. It's basically floater on the whole entire drop. You get airtime on your side, I should say. Those overbanks are crazy. And then you also have that final quadruple down, which is, oh my god, nuts. You could put it as OMG nuts. And then, on that overbank, you have the whole entire thing, which slams you into the brake run. So fast and very intense of a roller coaster. If you're at Dollywood, this is the thing that you cannot miss. Miss every other ride in the park, that's fine. But it's not every other ride in the park. It's phenomenal. However, this ride, wow. This thing is, oh my god, wow. El Toro. This is a ride that I've been riding for years and years and years, and it never gets old. This thing, I'm very excited to hit it up again, as I will be going to Great Adventure for Fright Fest the next time. So I don't know when that will be, but you guys can expect me to tell you guys around the next 2 or 3 weeks, because I probably will be hitting up this park once again at the end of September for Fright Fest, early October. El Toro, though, great airtime, great intensity, great everything. You have a crazy lift hill, the first lift hill actually that uses a cable lift on a wooden roller coaster. It's very fun. It isn't like Skyrush fast or Intimidator 305 fast of a lift hill, but it's still fast, and it gives you some nice anticipation that makes your blood racing when you're about to go down that 76 degree drop, which is just crazy, down 176 feet. It is just a crazy ride. If you're in the area and you get to hit up this park every single day, like I said, same thing with Maverick. If you can get to this park every month at least, like I do, then it's fine to miss this roller coaster at least once or twice in that time. However, if you only go to this park like once in a lifespan, then this park, you need to ride El Toro. You need to. This thing, if you miss like I said with Maverick, be ashamed. This thing is just a crazy, crazy roller coaster. And if you ever get the chance to ride it, it'll probably end up in your top 5, I'm assuming, or top 10. Depends how many roller coasters you've ridden. Because of how many I've ridden, I can tell you guys right now, wow. Leviathan, B&M Giga roller coaster at Canada's Wonderland. Leviathan is relentless from start to finish as well. The drop feels like you're falling forever. It feels like a drop tower of a drop. Then it just sprawls through the whole entire layout. It never slows down. Like most B&M hypers, they do slow down at parts. But this is a B&M Giga we're talking about. Come on. This is without a doubt one of the best steel roller coasters in the world. Without a doubt. This thing has so much crazy moments. It has some great airtime moments and that's very rare for a Giga coaster. And just along with Fury 225, same thing. Fury 225 is basically just a buffed up on steroids version of Leviathan. It has airtime, it's intense, it has a drop tower drop, which is crazy and feels like you're falling forever. And that sign at night too. I experienced it at night, on one night that I was there in Carowinds. Wow. Really nice looking sign. Wow. Just wow. And it has some great overbanks. This thing is not focused on the airtime. However, is about that intensity and the overbanks. People will say this ride is tame. Whoa. I have nothing to say to you anymore. This thing is just a crazy roller coaster, and is another one of the best steel roller coasters in the world, and one of the best roller coasters in the world. So, can you name some top 10 great coasters you've been on? Can you name 10 great coasters you've been on? However you want to put it. Have you been on these 10 roller coasters? Because if you have, let me know what you think are in this list. Like, I want to know if you guys have the same exact list as I do. And remember, this is not a top 10. That's why I didn't say, like, oh, number 10 is this, number 4 is that, number 1 is that. Because these are just a throwback to 10 great roller coasters that I've ridden as of 2016. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time.